Once upon a time, nestled in a sun-dappled meadow filled with clover and wildflowers, lived a rabbit named Pip. Pip wasn't the biggest or the fastest rabbit in the warren, but what he lacked in size, he more than made up for in cleverness. His whiskers twitched with curiosity, and his eyes, like two shiny black beads, missed nothing. He knew every secret path, every hollow log, and every patch of the sweetest dandelions. One morning, as golden sunlight streamed through the leaves, Pip hopped out of his burrow, his nose wiggling as he took in the fresh, earthy scent of the meadow. His plan for the day was simple: enjoy a leisurely breakfast of tender clover, followed by a nap in his favorite sunny spot. But as he nibbled on a particularly juicy leaf, a strange glint of metal caught his eye near the old oak tree. His curiosity piqued, Pip cautiously approached. There, half hidden in the tall grass, was a trap. It was a cruel-looking contraption of wire and springs, a stark, cold thing in the otherwise soft, green landscape. He'd heard stories from the elder rabbits about these devices, whispers of danger and capture. A shiver ran down his spine. He saw a juicy carrot placed tantalizingly inside, its bright orange a stark contrast to the dark metal. Pip knew this was a farmer's trick, a lure to trap unsuspecting creatures. Instead of running away in fear, Pip's mind started whirring. He saw the potential for disaster. What if his younger sister Lily, who was often careless, stumbled upon it? Or what about Barnaby the badger, who was old and his eyesight wasn't what it used to be? He couldn't just leave it there. He had to do something. But he was just a small rabbit. How could he possibly deal with such a dangerous object? He spent the rest of the morning observing the trap from a safe distance. He studied how the trigger mechanism worked, how the door was designed to snap shut. He noticed a small, rusty hinge on the side. An idea, old and a little bit risky, began to form in his mind. He needed a tool, something strong enough to break the trap, but small enough for him to handle. Pip hopped over to the edge of the woods, where he knew a family of clever woodpeckers lived. He found Woody, the head of the family, rhythmically tapping away at a dead branch. "Good morning, Woody," Pip called out cheerfully. "I have a bit of a problem, and I was hoping you might be able to help." Pip explained the situation, describing the metal trap and the danger it posed to everyone in the meadow. Woody listened intently, his head cocked to one side. "A farmer's trap, you say? A nasty business indeed. It threatens us all. What do you need from me?" "I need a lever," Pip explained. "A strong, sturdy stick, sharp at one end, that I can use to pry open the hinge on the trap." Woody nodded thoughtfully. "An excellent plan, young Pip. I know just the thing." He flew to a sturdy branch, and with a few precise, powerful pecks, broke off a piece of hardwood. He then expertly sharpened one end into a fine point. He dropped the stick near Pip. It was perfect, heavy but manageable. "Thank you, Woody." "I owe you one," Pip said, his heart filled with gratitude. He gripped the stick firmly in his mouth and began the slow, careful journey back to the old oak tree. It was hard work, dragging the stick through the grass, but the thought of his friends and family kept him going. When he reached the trap, he took a deep breath. This was the moment of truth. He carefully positioned the sharp end of the stick into the rusty hinge he had spotted earlier. Pushing with all his might, using his body as leverage, he began to pry. The metal groaned in protest. Sweat beaded on his brow. He pushed harder, his little muscles straining. Suddenly, with a loud crack, the hinge snapped. The trap door sagged, now completely broken. It could no longer shut. Pip let out a sigh of relief, his legs trembling from the effort. He had done it. He had disarmed the threat. But Pip wasn't finished. He knew the farmer would eventually come back to check his trap. He had to send a clear message. He nibbled the carrot, but instead of eating it all, he left a few distinct bite marks. Then, he took the broken stick and laid it neatly next to the disabled trap. It was a sign, a statement that the creatures of the meadow were not helpless. The next day, the farmer came stomping through the meadow, a frown on his face. He saw his broken trap, the half-eaten carrot, and the peculiar stick lying beside it. He scratched his head in confusion. He had never seen anything like it. It was as if the trap had been deliberately and intelligently dismantled. He picked up the broken pieces and, shaking his head, walked away. He never placed a trap in that meadow again. News of Pip's bravery and cleverness spread like wildfire. The other animals looked at him with a new sense of respect. He wasn't just Pip the small rabbit anymore. He was Pip the hero, the protector of the meadow. Barnaby the badger tipped his hat to him, and Lily gave him the biggest hug. Pip, however, remained humble. He knew that true strength wasn't about size or speed, but about courage, cleverness, and caring for your community. From that day on, the meadow was a safer place for everyone, all thanks to one small rabbit who dared to face a big problem. And whenever Pip hopped through his home, nibbling on clover, he'd often glance towards the old oak tree and smile, remembering the day he outsmarted a hunter and proved that even the smallest creature can make the biggest difference. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more tales from the meadow. See you next time.